Let's take a breath together. Whew. So I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of tears over the last 48 hours. And I thought I knew what I was going to talk about, but it keeps changing. I will share with you a little gem that my Pentecostal holiness nanny, my maternal grandmother, gave me. Growing up, the only prayer we ever needed to pray is, Lord, fill my mouth with worthwhile stuff and nudge me hard when I've said enough. So that's where I'm at this morning. The human part of me wants us to stop killing each other. The human part of me wants us to stop even seeing that there is an other to be killed. The human side of me wants all the other cells in this infinite body to wake up to the truth that we really are one. That we really are not separate. That we somehow figure out how to neutralize the lie that creates every pain we've ever felt, is that we're separate. Because when we, I love what Mother Teresa said. If we do not have peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. See, when we really recognize, when we really know, when the cells in our physical being accept that when I look into your eyes, it is God looking into the eyes of God. How could we possibly hurt one another? How could we wage war against one another over a landmass we neither created nor control? How could we persist in these ways that we've created to hurt each other by believing that we're separate? By believing that it makes sense on some level to dehumanize one another to the point where I take a superior position, that I actually have some authority to take your life. If we understood that there's one life, one, and that everything I enact on you, I enact on all of life. That there is no such thing as hurting you to help me. That's a lie. I cannot make myself more safe by eliminating you. I make myself more lonely. I make myself experience incompleteness because I reject a part of myself every time I reject anything in life. There's only one life. We're all it. Now, no, this individualized vessel is not all of God, nor is yours. But let's be really clear. All of God is in your vessel. That's different. All of God is right where you are. All of God is the chair you're sitting in. All of God is the screen you're watching this on. Because that's all there is. And it doesn't matter if we call it God or the kitchen sink. It's just a word we use so we can talk about it. And if we're actually going to embody it, we have got to let go of our own separate ideas that define it. We have to understand that we're created in its image and stop recreating it in the limitations of our image. And yes, the Pentecostalness is all over me this morning. Deal with it. I come from deep roots. And I know that I, thou feeling. I know how to let myself experience a pain that is incomprehensible to my mind as I think about Ravon Wells, as I think about the mother of Tyree Nichols, as I recognize in this human realm, in the limitation of my own thoughts, that I don't care what you tell me, I can't imagine a more resilient being on planet Earth than the black mother of a black son. And they shouldn't have to be this resilient. They shouldn't have to live in that. And there is no place where any of us get to divorce ourselves from the creation of that. Because in oneness, it's all of our opportunity to heal it. Is it your responsibility to change the behavior of other people? No. Although, there is an example in the Bible, 3 different places in the Bible, where the holiest person that the Bible talks about did in fact demonstrate to us the importance of interrupting behavior. Jesus in the temple. Brother got a little hot under the collar. And what he was upset about was that people were engaging in wrong behavior. They were cheating the money changers. Money changers in and of themselves wasn't the problem. It's how they were doing it that was the problem. Money changers is nothing more than if you go to another country, you have to change the currency you use. That was really the job of the money changers. The problem was they were charging to do that job, and under Hebrew law, it was patently illegal to profit off of that. That's what Jesus was upset about. They were using the temple to sell goods and wares. They were turning it into a marketplace. That's what he was upset about. And as the story goes, he wove a whip of cords and ran everybody out and turned over the tables of the money changers, which if you think about it, that was just a way of saying, well, now figure out what's more valuable because it's all mixed up together on the floor. But here's the thing that I don't hear us talk about with that story, is that's really where it ended. Nowhere in that Bible do I read where Jesus anchored in a resentment, hunted them down, and condemned them for the rest of their life. He interrupted the behavior. He told them what was supposed to be happening, and he continued to love them. Perhaps our own version of separation is part of the problem. See, when you see someone behaving badly and you do nothing, you just co-sign that behavior. You just co-signed it. Now, I am not suggesting that it is everybody's job to physically interrupt a behavior, because everybody has different skill sets. Everybody has a different calling. But the one place we can all interrupt it is in consciousness. Every time you catch yourself thinking that you are separate from somebody for any reason, interrupt it. Interrupt it. The quickest interruption I know, no. No. Ain't a word of truth in it. What is true is that there is one source, one substance, and it lives, moves, and has its being as all of creation. I can never be separate from that. Separate requires two. If you really believe there's only one, you cannot simultaneously believe in separation. You just can't. One of those ain't true. You get to pick which one you believe. This month, we've looked at the beginnings of science of mind, the first stuff that Ernest Holmes talks about, the thing itself, the source, the substance, that everything is made out of, the way it works. I don't even know how it gets to be a whole chapter, because it just does. It just does. And it has no off switch. So if you're walking around with this notion, I posted some earlier on Facebook this week, and somebody responded, when I have a thought that's out of alignment, I just say cancel, clear, and I cracked up, because there was a time I did that too. It don't work. You can't cancel and clear an eternal thought. It's eternal. What we can do is neutralize them. What we can do is drip truth onto them. But if we are eternal beings, every thought we have is instantly eternal. Now, if that doesn't kind of spur you to be more intelligent and more practical and more intentional about what you think, I don't know what will. Every thought we have is instantly eternal because it is a thought in the eternal mind. You cannot have eternal oneness and have a place of something not eternal. Kind of blows the whole thing apart. Right? Every thought. Now, I don't know about you, but I've had some thoughts that I go, ooh, kind of wish I'd have known that before. I may not have thought that, but I may have. And that's the beauty of grace. There is no condemnation. There isn't. What created us? I mean, think about it logically. Right? We're created out of this magnificence and then given complete free will to use it however we choose. If we really have free will to use it however we choose, there can't be a punishment for doing it wrong, because wrong suggests there's a way that you shouldn't choose. And then whole free will goes right out the window. That's grace. That does not excuse bad behavior in the human realm. Stop equating the two. They're not the same. And you can't behave badly in the human realm without having a thought that's out of alignment with the truth of your being. Let's get real. Yes, you have absolute free will to be as far out of alignment with your essence as you choose. And in the end, there is no condemnation. That does not mean we don't create pain in this human realm. We do. We do. Sometimes we behave badly because we think badly, because we've bought into the lie of separation. We looked at what it does. This scares me into deep spiritual practice. I ain't gonna lie. This part motivates my spiritual practice, because what it does is it responds affirmatively with laser accuracy to every single thought and belief that I have. Every one of them. Doesn't matter if I'm aware that I'm thinking it or believing it or not. The activity of law just says, got it, yes. Got it, yes. It takes it and it makes it. That calls me to be aware and to be intentional and to do whatever I have to do to excavate the garbage out of my consciousness, to surface what I don't know is there, because I love you, because I love me, because I love humanity. Is it hard work sometimes? And sometimes it's really simple, and sometimes it's really easy. It's all of those things. And then we get to how to use it. And how we use it is up to us. We can use it consciously. We can use it unconsciously. We can use it intentionally. We can use it in ignorance. We can use it in intelligence. We can use it in love. We can use it in separation. But what you can't do is not use it. Because there ain't no off switch. I want to start wrapping up with this. If you catch yourself using the term unconditional love, just know that that's a redundant sentence. There is no such thing as love that is anything other than unconditional. Conditional love is not love. That's code for, I ain't really going to love you, but I'm going to sound like it. Love is unconditional, period. If you really love people, if you really love yourself, then love deeply enough to do the work. Love deeply enough to dare to be uncomfortable. Love deeply enough to get to know your authentic self. Not who somebody told you you were. Not who you think you're supposed to be. Who are you? Who are you? Not the human you, the divine you. The part of you that creation smiled into being only because it had such a tremendous desire that it wanted to know itself as you. Beloved, that is how precious you are. That is how much you matter. God itself desired to expand itself as you, celebrating life as source. You are here to be source. And we have to clear some stuff out of the way to remember who we are, to feel who we are. I found a quote by Ken Wilber that I want to share with you. It is profound, I believe. And I want you to really listen to what he's saying here, because you could hear it lots of different ways. And therefore, all of those for whom authentic transformation has deeply unseated their souls must, I believe, wrestle with the profound moral obligation to shout from the heart, perhaps quietly and gently, with tears of reluctance, perhaps with fierce fire and angry wisdom, perhaps with slow and careful analysis, perhaps with unshakable public example, but authentically, always and absolutely carries a demand and a duty. You must speak out to the best of your ability and shake the spiritual tree and shine your headlights into the eyes of the complacent. You must let that radical realization rumble through your veins and rattle those around you. Alas, if you fail to do so, you are betraying your own authenticity. You are hiding your true estate. You don't want to upset others because you don't want to upset yourself. Come on. Because you see, the alarming fact is that any realization of depth carries a terrible burden. Those who are allowed to see are simultaneously saddled with the obligation to communicate that vision in no uncertain terms. That is the bargain. You are allowed to see the truth under the agreement that you would communicate it to others. And therefore, if you have seen, you simply must speak out. Speak out with compassion, or speak out with angry wisdom, or speak out with skillful means, but speak out you must. There is no room for timidity. The fact that you might be wrong is simply no excuse. You might be right in your communication, and you might be wrong. But that doesn't matter. What matters, as Kierkegaard reminded us, is that only by investing and speaking your vision with passion can the truth, one way or another, finally penetrate the reluctance of the world. It is only your passion that will force either to be discovered. It is your duty to promote that discovery, either way. And therefore, it is your duty to speak your truth with whatever passion and courage you can find in your heart. And I'm going to try to read one more. Because I keep hearing Tyree's mom acknowledge that her son's life and her son's death had purpose. That she didn't know it was going to go down this way. That he always wanted to be famous. And he probably didn't imagine it this way. But here we are. And she is speaking her faith, even in the depths of her grief. I'm reading from this amazing book, Language is a Place of Struggle. Great quotes by people of color. It was given to me when I graduated ministerial school. This is a quote by Ethel Waters, a black singer. Life is not intended to be safe. A safe life is too small a name for a creature of eternity. Life at its noblest and highest has a hazard about it. It ponders tomorrow, but does not know it. It sounds the depths of the ocean, but knows not the hazards of the bottom. Life at its best takes a chance on righteousness, no matter the hazard, no matter the cost. Life, when answering to its true name, lifts on wings, feeling no invisible hands supporting it. Thank you for your life, Tyree Nichols. Let's take this into prayer. I recognize that despite all of the physical evidence that would mislead me, that there is only one substance, one essence, one energy, one love, one life, one breath, breathing all of its creation, one mind, one heart, one. And being made out of it, by it, to be it, I know that all of it must be living, moving, and having its being as this thing I call me. And I know what is true of me is true of every individualized expression, every form of divinity incarnated. Always one. And being one with the substance and the source, I must be one with each individualized expression of it. There can be no separation in one. And so I speak my word, claiming and affirming that this one body that we each live, move, and have our being in, that each of us is awakening to the truth of our being. And as we do, we recognize and celebrate the truth of all being. And as we do, healing happens. I speak my word, claiming and affirming, echoing the words of our founder, Reverend Dr. Ernest Holmes, that the only healing that is ever required is a revealing of more truth. I claim and affirm, I accept it as so that truth is revealing itself through every operation of humanity, no matter the appearance. Truth is revealing itself. And we open to knowing it, to being it, to allowing it to guide our every action. So grateful for an awareness, for a body that lets me feel, for a heart that breaks open to feel more over and over again. So grateful. Grateful for love. Grateful for life. Grateful. And so I release into that gratitude with complete surrender, knowing it's already done. I accept it as so. And I invite you to join me as we say together, and so it is. Just take a breath.